September 10th, 2023. 10:47 p.m. The Las Vegas Strip goes dark. Slot machines freeze mid-spin. Digital room keys stop working. Thousands of guests are locked out of their rooms. ATMs go offline. The reservation system crashes. MGM Resorts International, a $33 billion empire controlling half the Vegas Strip, has been brought to its knees. The weapon? Not explosives. Not armed robbery. A 10-minute phone call. This is the story of Scattered Spider, a gang of young hackers who fooled their way into America's most secure casinos, planned to rig slot machines for millions, and when caught, burned it all down in revenge. Their leader? A two-year-old from Scotland who would flee across continents with $27 million in stolen cryptocurrency, only to be betrayed by the very criminals he trusted. This is Scattered Spider, the $100 million casino hack. To understand how Vegas fell, you need to understand the hunter. Summer 2023. Someone is watching MGM Resorts. Not from the casino floor, from LinkedIn. They're studying employees, IT managers, help desk technicians, security personnel, memorizing names, job titles, reporting structures, building a map of the company's digital infrastructure, one public profile at a time. The group behind this surveillance called themselves Scattered Spider, also known as UNC 3944, Octopus, and Scatter Swine. But unlike traditional hackers hiding in Eastern Europe or North Korea, Scattered Spider was different. They were young, most in their late teens and early 20s. They were Western, primarily from the United States, United Kingdom, and Canada. And they spoke perfect English with American accents. This wasn't their first rodeo. Throughout 2022 and early 2023, Scattered Spider had quietly infiltrated over 130 organizations: Twilio, DoorDash, MailChimp, Coinbase, Reddit, Riot Games. They'd stolen employee credentials, drained cryptocurrency wallets, and extorted millions. The FBI had been tracking them for months, but they'd never attempted anything this audacious. Their secret weapon wasn't sophisticated malware or zero-day exploits. It was something far simpler and far more terrifying: the human voice. Social engineering, the art of manipulation. Scattered Spider had perfected it. They didn't hack systems, they hacked people. September 7th, 2023. 3 days before the chaos, an MGM IT help desk technician receives a routine call. The caller sounds frustrated. They claim to be a recently hired employee working remotely. They've been locked out of their account. They need access to complete urgent work. The help desk technician asks for verification. The caller provides a name, a real employee found on LinkedIn. They provide details about their department, their manager's name, office location. Everything checks out. The technician, just trying to help a colleague in need, resets the password and provides access. The call lasts 10 minutes. Polite, professional, routine. They just handed the keys to the kingdom to Scattered Spider. Within hours, the hackers moved laterally through MGM's network. They escalated privileges. They mapped the infrastructure. They identified the crown jewels, the systems controlling everything from slot machines to hotel operations. And they discovered something that would change their plan entirely. MGM's slot machine network was vulnerable, not just to data theft, but to manipulation. Scattered Spider realized they could do something unprecedented in casino history. They could make the machines pay out on command. The plan was elegant: rig dozens of slot machines across multiple MGM properties to hit massive jackpots. Hire money mules, people willing to sit at the machines, claim the winnings, and split the proceeds, collect millions before anyone noticed the pattern, then disappear. But there was a problem. MGM's security team noticed unusual network activity, strange logins, suspicious credential usage. On September 9th, they began investigating, and they found the intrusion. Scattered Spider had been discovered, and they did not take it well. September 10th, 2023. When caught, most hackers retreat. They cover their tracks and vanish. Scattered Spider chose war. They partnered with ALPHV, also known as Black Cat, one of the world's most dangerous ransomware gangs. Within hours, ALPHV's ransomware was deployed across MGM's network. The target: 100 ESXi servers, the backbone of MGM's digital operations. The encryption began at 10:47 p.m. Pacific Time. Server by server, MGM's systems went dark. At the Bellagio, guests couldn't access their rooms. The digital key system was dead. At MGM Grand, the sportsbook couldn't process bets. At Aria, the reservation system crashed. The casino websites went offline. Credit card systems failed. Parking gates malfunctioned. Even the slot machines, ironically, the same machines Scattered Spider had planned to exploit, were frozen. MGM made a critical decision. They refused to pay the ransom. They began manually rebuilding their systems from scratch. It would take 10 days. The cost would exceed $100 million, the single most expensive cyber attack on a casino in history. But Scattered Spider wasn't finished with Las Vegas. Just days earlier, they'd hit another target: Caesars Entertainment. Using the same social engineering tactics, they'd breached Caesars' network through their IT support vendor, Okta. But Caesars made a different choice. Fearing exposure of their customer loyalty database containing driver's licenses and social security numbers of millions of high rollers, Caesars paid $15 million in cryptocurrency, transferred within 48 hours. Scattered Spider had pulled off one of the boldest double strikes in cybercrime history. Two of Vegas's biggest empires, over $115 million in combined damages and ransom. And they'd done it with nothing more than phone calls and confidence. But every empire has a weak point, and Scattered Spider's was about to be exposed. November 2024. Spanish National Police raid a villa in Palma de Mallorca. Inside, they find a two-year-old man from Scotland. His name, Tyler Robert Buchanan, also known online as Tyler B. Buchanan wasn't just a member of Scattered Spider. According to U.S. prosecutors, he was one of its leaders, the mastermind who'd helped orchestrate attacks on over 45 companies across multiple countries. But how did a young man from Scotland end up leading one of the world's most sophisticated hacking groups? The answer reveals the dark evolution of modern cybercrime. Tyler Buchanan grew up in Scotland in the 2010 seconds, a generation that came of age online. By his late teens, he'd fallen into the world of SIM swapping, a technique where hackers convince mobile carriers to transfer a victim's phone number to a SIM card they control. With access to someone's phone number, they could intercept two-factor authentication codes, reset passwords, and drain cryptocurrency wallets. Buchanan allegedly became exceptionally good at it. Between 2021 and 2023, he and his associates reportedly stole over $27 million in cryptocurrency from victims across the United States. But in the cryptocurrency underworld, success attracts attention, and not the good kind. June 2023. Buchanan's home in the UK is invaded. A rival cybercrime group, seeking his crypto fortune, breaks in. They assault his mother. They threaten him with a blowtorch, demanding he hand over his cryptocurrency wallets. Buchanan flees the UK. He takes his cryptocurrency, what remains of it, and runs. First to Spain, then across Europe. He's 22 years old, holding millions in stolen digital currency, and wanted by law enforcement in multiple countries. But running has consequences. In June 2024, Spanish authorities, working with the FBI, locate him in Palma de Mallorca. He's arrested. In April 2025, he's extradited to the United States. He now faces 20 counts of wire fraud, conspiracy, and aggravated identity theft. If convicted on all charges, he could spend the rest of his life in federal prison. But Buchanan is just one member. The FBI's investigation reveals that Scattered Spider is larger than anyone initially thought, possibly 12 to 15 core members, primarily young men from English-speaking countries. Some are still at large. January 2025. MGM Resorts reaches a settlement with victims of the breach. $45 million to compensate customers whose personal information was stolen. But the real cost goes far beyond money. The MGM attack exposed a terrifying vulnerability in modern corporate security: the help desk. No matter how sophisticated your firewalls, how encrypted your systems, how trained your employees, one convincing phone call can bypass it all. In the months following the attack, companies worldwide overhauled their help desk protocols: multi-factor authentication, verbal passphrases, manager approvals for credential resets, callback verification. The industry learned the hard way that the weakest link in cybersecurity isn't technology, it's trust. But Scattered Spider didn't disappear. Throughout 2024 and into 2025, the group continued operating. They partnered with new ransomware affiliates. They targeted telecommunications companies, technology firms, financial institutions. In June 2025, cybersecurity researchers detected Scattered Spider attempting help desk attacks against major tech companies, using the exact same tactics that brought down MGM. The FBI continues to hunt the remaining members. International task forces share intelligence, but the nature of Scattered Spider makes them difficult to stop. They don't operate from a single location. They don't use sophisticated malware that can be reverse engineered. They exploit the one vulnerability that can't be patched: human nature. As for the casinos, they've recovered. MGM systems were fully restored by late September 2023. The company reported $100 million in losses, a devastating hit, but survivable for a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Caesars moved on, tightening security with their third-party vendors. But the precedent has been set. Scattered Spider proved that with enough research, enough confidence, and a convincing voice, you can infiltrate almost anywhere. They proved that sometimes the most dangerous weapon isn't code, it's charisma. September 10, 2026. 3 years after the attack, Las Vegas is thriving. Tourists flood the Strip. Slot machines spin. Hotel rooms fill. The MGM hack is a memory, a case study in cybersecurity courses, a cautionary tale in corporate boardrooms. Tyler Buchanan awaits trial in federal custody. His alleged co-conspirators remain at large, scattered across continents. The $27 million in cryptocurrency he once held? Seized by authorities, traced through blockchain ledgers that never forget. The Scattered Spider case reveals an uncomfortable truth. In our interconnected digital world, we're all just one phone call away from catastrophe. We trust voices. We trust verification questions. We trust that the person calling the help desk is who they claim to be. Scattered Spider knew that, and they used it to bring Vegas to its knees. The question isn't whether it will happen again. The question is, who's watching now? Who's studying LinkedIn profiles? memorizing employee names, perfecting their accent for the next call. In the digital age, the greatest heist doesn't require a gun, just a phone and a convincing story.